a big welcome. This is a webinar called Metamorphosis that has been years in the making. I am your co-host along with Tiffany Carroll. Tiffany, please know how grateful, thankful, and truly honored I am to work with you today. Thank you so much.
Yeah, right back to you.
Thank you. Thank you. My name is Elena Brower, and Tiffany and I have been friends for some time. We've been sort of ravenous to work together in this way. We're really happy to be presenting to you an hour of our time to kind of integrate what has happened over the last year. Consider for a moment, if you close your eyes, wow, from this day last year to this day this year, just consider for a few moments where you've been. And with your eyes closed, we'll open up this circle, this portal, this time together very intentionally to generate a feeling of safety, to welcome each other, all of us, all of ourselves, not just all the people, but all the parts of each of us into this very sacred space where we can actually intentionally take all the learnings from the last year and bring them home. You have gone through a huge change, whether you've been sitting still in your house the whole time or not. And we're both very honored to serve you in this integration, this understanding, and this intention. Take a nice deep breath for yourself. And just hold that breath in for a moment. And then exhale. Put a big smile on your face. And bring your chin toward your chest. And with your head gently inclined toward your heart, respectful and honoring of your heart, please begin to open your eyes. Just blink them open. Grab your pen. What does the word metamorphosis mean to you at this time? What has changed? What has dissolved? What has reformed? I'm writing with you. As you complete this writing, I'll say a few things. I've really, whatever the changes have been, I want you to look for the small details, the evidence of the change. In my case, I noticed this morning that my favorite birds that nest above Jonah's door are now pooping lavender because it's juniper berry season. Like, wow, that's really different than what I was attending to a year ago today. You know, stuff like that. I want you to pick up on the little tiniest details. Those perceptions, those acknowledgments, these are the up-levelings that Tiffany and I are here to celebrate in you today. We spoke, Tiffany, many times in the last several days and weeks. It's been such a pleasure to be in such close contact and plan outfits together. The two of us, total dorks. We spoke a lot about this up-leveling of context, and I would love for you to take a moment to share with us what that means for you and how you'd like to bring it forth today.
Yes. Pooping lavender, first of all. I just wanted to say that out loud.
Can you even? I looked outside of the door this morning and I was like, why are these poops now lavender? I'm always like cursing them gently because I have to clean them up again. But no, today I left them. They're so beautiful. I might even take a picture for my stories.
I love it.
The most gorgeous.
Actually, that's a perfect segue into this context. What I found over the years is that we are who we are, and what's happening is what's happening, right? The context that we bring to something, context that we bring to any situation, can serve to liberate us or put us in a prison cell. So context in that sense being our beliefs, the stories we tell ourselves, the things that we focus on. And so this context of metamorphosis, I'm so excited about it for so many reasons and ways. It's just perfectly, brilliantly fitting for us. And it's, let's see, the thing that I want to share for the context that I think will say so much is a little piece about imaginal cells. And I know, Elena, you know about this, and maybe many of you do. And
look what I found.
Oh, wow.
It came to me like this. It's all beat up. It's a used magazine.
Oh my God.
It's a collection of essays that explore how a compassionate approach to business, finance, the environment, and politics can transform our world. Imaginal cells. There's plenty in here for the virtual half-day retreat. I'm just telling you, I have so many things going on here.
I love it.
But please go on. Imaginal.
Actually, I also feel I just want to take a pause to really I'm just sending so much love to all the beings with us together right now, and those that'll join in later for the replay, and those whose lives you all are connected to, this web of light, this web of goodness, this web of heart. And this nest that we share in together that can hold and contain it all, the comfortable, the uncomfortable, the easy, the hard, the painful, the pleasurable, and everything in between. We have our individual cocoons and we have our collective cocoon. Okay, with that, our imaginal cells. So imaginal cells are something that start to be formed within, well, it's actually within all insects that go through metamorphosis like this, but let's focus on the caterpillar. So within the caterpillar, as it's getting ready to go into its cocoon or its chrysalis, it starts getting really uncomfortable. And if you see them in nature, they're like wiggling around. It looks like they can't be consoled. They seem like they can't find their place. And then finally they find their place, a little stick or a little branch, and they begin to form the cocoon. While they're thrashing about, they are they're going through this, basically a liquefaction or a digestion of the cells that previously made them up. And it is through that mush, that breakdown, that kind of chaos.
Organic stew, as it's called in here.
I love it. Organic stew. An organic stew of, it's basically, you know, the reference points that were no longer exist. It's now an organic stew. And from that, these imaginal cells arise. And the imaginal cells, you know, scientists still don't totally understand how on a scientific basis it all works, but they're in essence cells of potential, a little bit like stem cells. And so from these cells of potential, they can actually become something radically different than what they were previously. That's why a caterpillar can become a butterfly.
Dormant imaginal cells, in sentence case, by the way, and in quotes, hold the vision of the new structure.
Exactly.
That's it.
And isn't it beautiful too that within the seed, or in this case with the caterpillar, the egg, within the egg that was laid in the beginning also exists the template for each new change of shape that comes. And so part of this context is recognizing we've been in a progressive breakdown of
what
the
was.
forms of what was. And while it can be experienced, and we certainly, I think probably all have experienced extreme discomfort, flat out terror, anxiety, all forms of fear in relationship to this, there is also, if we tune into it, this effervescence of the most beautiful, rich, nourishing anticipation of who we are becoming. And this idea that we can relax into knowing that we have imaginal cells. We have them. We don't have to figure it all out, who we're becoming and where we're going from here. That there is this intelligence that is ungraspable with the mind alone, that is us.
At first, these imaginal cells operate independently as single cell organisms and are then attacked by the caterpillar's immune system. Think of this in a global sense.
Wow.
Which views them as a threat. However, soon these new cells regroup, multiply, and connect with each other. They then form clusters and begin resonating at the same frequency. And finally, they reach a tipping point and they consolidate to become a new multi-cell organism, the butterfly. We are somewhere in this organic stew moment right now. Mm-hmm. And I think the best wisdom that we can share in this hour together is so much about learning how to, as Tiffany just said, relax into this effervescence of anticipation and see all the overlapping challenges as imaginal cells that are changing and morphing and slowly like eking into resonance with one another. Even, I dare say, that people with whom I was in deep disagreement over political matters, for example, even we are starting to resonate again together and find each other again. And it's so beautiful. That's a very sort of shallow example of what I think this is a gigantic conversation, and I'm really glad that we're able to have it here. Tiffany brings, for those of you that have never met Tiffany, and I imagine you are few and far between, but it's worth it to point out, decades of experience in traditional Chinese medicine. She brings an extremely intuitive heart capacity, and she brings a deep respect for the plants and how they, in activation with these meridian points in traditional Chinese medicine, can incite, invite, inspire this opening of these portals and channels in the body to literally receive the metamorphosis, the resonance that is happening in your body. I'm very honored to work with her always, but today we have 3 different points that we're going to visit. And in case you didn't get the email, and in case you didn't see, if you have essential oils, and it doesn't matter if you don't, you will want to have your coriander, preferably seed, your black spruce, and your jasmine, please. So just have those if you can. Our plan today is to walk you through this small introduction. We're going to start with 1 point, which Tiffany will walk you through. I'm going to walk you through a very sweet mellow, non-invasive yoga practice for about 15 or 20 minutes. And then Tiffany will take us through the other 2 points. We'll have a discussion, and you will be walked through by both of us your journal prompts, which if you haven't printed, I will show you the pages as we go, so you don't need to worry. So the things you're collecting are comfy clothes, perhaps designated yoga space, coriander, black spruce, and jasmine, a pen and a journal. If you haven't printed out the pages yet, don't worry. And your enthusiasm. Those are the things that you're collecting right now. Tiffany, as you sort of ramp us and walk us into the first point while everyone is collecting their things, why coriander seed? Why is this so important? And I personally find it a part of every day in my diffuser or on my body. Explain this. I mean, I go through at least 1 bottle a month easily. This is halfway done. I opened it maybe a week or 2 ago.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
Coriander seed. Why coriander seed? Coriander seed is the oldest that we're aware of in archaeological digs, the oldest spice that human beings have worked with. And there's actually these really ancient vessels that have been found with little pieces of coriander seed in there. Wow. And so we have this very ancient relationship with coriander seed and a kind of dialogue, if you will, around nourishment, being nourished. And when we are going and undergoing change, metamorphosis, there's a nourishment that's being asked for. And I feel that this nourishment transmission of coriander seed, it's a nourishment transmission. It bypasses, in a positive sense, all of the places where we might have hangups or distortions around nourishment, around what's safe to allow in or what's not safe to allow in. And it goes right to the heart. And actually, we're going to be putting it on our belly button. So it's going right to the actual physical place that was our source of nourishment. So it goes right to the heart of pure, good, true, beautiful nourishment for our soul, for our physical body, and everything in between.
This is particularly relevant for folks who have ever had any disordered eating.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
Welcome to that club for soul, for body, for all.
And also any histories of abuse or neglect, of being mistreated, being violated, particularly by people, places, or institutions that we thought were there to help.
It's a big deal. Mm-hmm. For the folks who don't have oils, please don't worry.
Yes,
We're going to take a drop of coriander on your index finger.
Yeah, let's do it together. So if you don't have oils, don't worry. What I'd invite you to do is to still go through the motion of, you don't have to go through the motion of pouring an oil on your finger, but go through the motion of holding your finger over your belly button. So what you'll do, if you have the oil, is take a drop of oil on one finger. If you don't have the oil, no problem. You just take your dear sweet finger and we're going to place it right over the belly button. And it's just sort of like the pad of your finger rests right there in on your belly button. Honoring by the very placement of your finger there, this universe within a universe. This original source of that which brought you into physical form. And we are right now, by this very act, activating and alivening the meridians that have to do with embryological development. But we're activating our embryological development of the us that is becoming, while so sweetly nourishing the us that is. And feel this as an opportunity also to connect in with your physical body. Land in the flesh right here, right now. Snuggle up with all the pieces and parts of you.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. Feel free to keep your hands there as long as you like. In general, this practice you can stay with anywhere from a minute to 5 minutes. Usually for myself, it's somewhere around 2 or 3. I feel a shift, a wave of energy move over and through. And then why don't you rub any remaining oil in your hand and then just bring your hands up. Even if you don't have oil on your hands, bring your hands up and take a whiff in. Take in this energetic, this fragrance of the coriander seed. So good.
That feels so good to me. In the moment I placed my hand on my belly, I felt my mother near.
Mm.
Tiffany, you have so much power.
Mm.
I'd love to actually, just before we move, I would love to move to the first page in your guide.
Mm.
If you don't mind. Living from the Heart, this page.
I love that one.
It's such a beauty. Living from the heart is really very simple. It's about remembering your heart's desire, your true joy, daring to act on it. And I would love for you in any way on any part of this page, I would love for you to make a list, a sweetheart list of the things that bring you joy that perhaps you actually haven't visited in some time. What brings you joy? Anywhere on the page. That's living from your heart. I'm going to do the practice with you. What brings you joy? Don't stop writing until you're really, truly done. Okay. You have a nice start to a really good list of how to live from your heart from this point forward. With the information that you have, I am going to take a moment as you complete writing to go over to the yoga space and set that up. And what I'll have you do, Tiffany, is I'm going to change your role to attendee for the moment.
Yeah.
So you can still speak, but we won't be able to see you so that I can see that video. Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. Withdraw co-host permission. Great. And then I'll go over to that. If you still have more to write, keep writing by all means. And I'll mute that one.
If you can hear me, Elena, unmute yours over there at the practice space.
There we go.
Yeah, perfect.
Wonderful. And now I'm going to quickly turn this off. Off video. I think I've done it. All right. So let me make sure that my sound is working here. I'm going to jump into the chat just to make sure I have a thumbs up on my sound. Jess, you said, yes, it's good. I'll wait and see. Just making sure that the sound in the yoga is perfect. Oh, awesome. Great. Such a technological feat this is. Please do come to your space and take a nice seat. And make sure I have my little clock. Okay, perfect. And as you take your seat, once again, go back into that understanding of what's changed this year. And feel, I have a scarf wrapped around me for this purpose, but feel that old self and how the new self is kind of bursting against the seams of that. Feel that process. Feel the discomfort, feel the truth of the changes that have happened, feel even the changes that we haven't even yet experienced, the ones that are coming, the imaginal cells that have yet to be expressed. Take a big breath in and exhale completely. Good. And very slowly come onto your hands and knees. We'll meet there. And once you're on your hands and knees, set yourself up so that your knees are just underneath your hips, your hands are just underneath your shoulders. And then tuck your toes. And with your toes tucked and kind of pressing against the balls of your feet, make big circles with your seat around, big, huge circles. And we'll go about 4 or 5 times in each direction. And then switching directions when you're ready. Wonderful. And then tuck your toes, lift your knees, slowly reach back into a nice down dog stretch. If you're not doing the full practice today, don't worry. You can also go ahead and take your hands onto a wall and just stretch yourself out that way. That's totally legal. And we'll just stay here for a few breaths, maybe 3 or 4 breaths, allowing the back of your neck to lengthen. Your breath to become more full, your knees to bend and straighten a couple of times. Wonderful. And then please step your right foot just to the outside of your right hand. Let your back knee come down onto the floor and bring your right hand to your right knee and gently spin yourself open. Each of these poses, you can sort of feel the pose itself coming through the form of your body. And if you want to stay here, great. If you want to come all the way up, arm high, also great. 2 more breaths. And then gently release your right hand down, step your right foot back. Nice. Give it a big stretch back there, and then bring your left foot to the outside of your left hand. Back knee down, and reach your left arm up. And again, you can take your time with your left hand on your left knee. If that's preferable, you can bring the arm up and really burst out if you wish. 3 more breaths here. Good, and then gently bring your left hand down, step back to your mat, step back to your dog. Walk your feet forward, please, about halfway. And then slowly bring your hands to your waist, thumbs at your sacrum. Inhale, stick your seat way out behind you, lengthen front spine, lift all the way up to stand. Then take a moment there to breathe, palms facing forward. Open your upper back, maybe lift your chin slightly. Just feel yourself kind of emerging. As you inhale, bring your arms up high to the sky. And then as you exhale, please take a hold of your left wrist with your right hand and lengthen all the way over to your right. As you're breathing deeply, you'll notice that sensation of emergence again. You can come a little more deeply into the posture, of course, make it more drastic, but as you do, keep your left foot well grounded. Steady and clear. Good. Come back up to the center. Go ahead and switch the hold. So your left hand holds your right wrist, coming all the way over now to the left. And again, feel on this side, something is different. What is it? I have this region under my right arm and shoulder a little tighter. Opening that feels really nice. Using my breathing to help it open and sensing that feeling of emergence. Just 1 more full breath here. Good. Come back to the center. Draw your hands down into prayer in front of your heart. Just take a moment there, lifting your heart, softening your belly, your bottom ribs back, and finding your back body. Good. Arms down at your sides. And again, as you wish, modify. Inhale, reach your arms up nice and high, walking to the front of your mat if you're not there already. And as you exhale, bring your prayer hands down, center front, folding, folding, folding. As you inhale, send your heart forward. And as you exhale, please step back once again to down dog. Nice. And then step your right foot forward between your hands this time. Good. And bring your arms up next to your ears for a balanced lunge. Take a moment there to lift your upper back, open your face to the sky, bend your front knee a little more deeply, and feel this posture coming through your body. Good. And then gently reach down, touch the ground, step back, down dog. Left foot forward, take a nice high lunge, arms up next to your ears, big full breath here. And once again, find that opening. Find where you can get a little deeper into the front knee, a little longer through your back leg, a little higher through your heart, emerging. And then gently bring your hands down, touch the floor, step back, downward facing dog, and take a nice, long, strong dog. Slowly lifting and lowering your heels, finding the backs of your legs. Good. And then come forward into plank pose, please. Lower down your knees, your chest, and your chin. Seat is still high. As you point your toes, inhale to lift your heart. Tiny little lift. And exhale, lower down. Spread your feet out a little bit wider. Shoelaces are down, tops of feet are down. Inhale, pubic bone down, navel lifts. So it's a little cobra. 2 breaths. Good. Release your belly down. That's the exhalation. Let's come inhaling up a little bit higher. Pubic bone to navel to ribs to heart. 3 breaths. Nice. And slowly lower down. Last one, coming up to the highest height. Feet stay wide. Pubic bone grounds. Inhale, slowly lifting up to navel, to ribs, to heart, to throat, to crown. Find the sky right through your ceiling. Good, and then gently lower back down. Fold your arms in front of you and let your chin rest on your hands for a moment. Sometimes in these liminal spaces between the postures, when we're just resting, you can sense what is emerging. You can just barely perceive the outlines of what might be coming next. Good. Slowly fold your elbow so that your hand holds your opposite elbow on both sides. Keep your feet where they are and inch yourself over to the right. Very gently, taking a nice long stretch for the left side. I promised this wouldn't be too intense. I hope I'm keeping my promise well. And as you're breathing deeply, long through the left, look over your right shoulder. You can feel it all the way in the depths of your belly on the left side especially. With this very short sequence of basically reaching into your parasympathetic nervous system and reminding it to come online again. Slowly come back to the center, and you can inch your arms over now to the left, holding opposite elbows with your hands. And again, when you're ready, look over your left shoulder and breathe deeply. Two more breaths here. Feel if your stomach is growling, that's a fantastic sign that your parasympathetic nervous system is working, resting, digesting. Good. Come back to the center. Bring your hands to the mat next to your chest. Tuck your toes underneath you. If you're feeling frisky, you can press up into plank and back to dog. If you're feeling a little less frisky and more caring, you can gently reach up back towards child's pose and then into dog. Whichever one works best for you is wonderful. 2 breaths. Nice. And then slowly bring your right knee forward for a pigeon. I know you thank me for this. And then come down onto your elbows. Good way to end the week. And just rock from right to left. And find where your seat is, find where your belly is, find where your breathing is. Good. If you can, stay on your elbows, that's cool. We'll step back and bring the left knee forward. If you need to come onto your hands, also cool. And again, from right to left, finding your way in. Use your breathing, your awareness, your listening. Really nice. Last full breath here. And then very gently sweep your back leg around and come into a comfortable cross-legged seat. Make any adjustments that you need. Perhaps it might be a little bit chilly where you are, and you can wrap yourself up if you like back into your cocoon. Somewhat chilly here today, sunny but cold. And allow your hands to rest on your thighs with your palms facing down. And take a moment here just to consider once again, what has changed? What feels different in your body? And at this point, I'd like you to consider what was released. Was it a need for approval? A need to be liked, seen? Have you noticed perhaps that you've let go of some sense of anxious anticipation and instead replaced it with a willingness to be tolerant of ambiguity? And as you cycle through the things that you've let go of in the last year, a little smile on your face, tiny sense of humor, that goes hand in hand with a sense of freedom. And when that freedom begins to feel a little bit too empty, like, oh no, that's no longer here, that person's no longer here, that need is no longer here, that task is no longer here, can you remind yourself over and over again that you are also free? You are free. And in these last few breaths together here, can you locate the place within you that has never actually changed? That sweet, quiet knowing, that tolerance of ambiguity that has been with you since you are very, very small. In these final breaths here, we sit and we grow that tolerance for not knowing. We grow the understanding that what is past informs, but is no longer present. The understanding that what is future has yet to happen, but might also inform in the same way that imaginal selves provide this template, this framework, this blueprint. But that too is not here yet. We have our willingness to rest in this uncertainty, comforted and nourished from within. Comforted and nourished from within. Very gently walk your fingertips out in front of you, whatever kind of seat you're in, and stretch yourself forward and down. Gently walk your hands over to your left side. Keep that long stretch. A lot of the impetus for this very short sequence really does have to do with the sense of emergence from within you, this lengthening, this opening that is constantly occurring. Back to the center and all the way over to your right side, please. From deep within you, what is emerging? Slowly come back to the center and gently walk yourself back up. Bring your hands to prayer in front of your heart. Take a moment to give gratitude for the practice, for this gathering, for Tiffany's deep, abiding wisdom and willingness to serve, and for all the ways in which this coming together will very comfortably hold you in these coming weeks and months. Namaste. Thank you. I'd like you to turn to the second page of your journal guide. I will head back over to my other seat and show it to you. So not too much thinking after your practice. And let's make Tiffany a co-host again. So nice to practice Page 2. I am always broadcasting. This is what my ideal broadcast feels like. Okay, make sure that I'm spotlighted for you. There we go. I am always broadcasting. This is what my ideal broadcast feels like. Take a moment to consider what that might mean to you, how that might feel for you. Tiffany, welcome back.
Thank you.
What does your ideal broadcast feel like? And furthermore, just to recognize that you're always broadcasting. What a wild concept, you know? When I think about Metamorphosis, and I asked Tiffany to choose the 3 pages, I didn't give her any guidance whatsoever. I love playing this way. She chose this, and I thought, of course she chose this. This is exactly what Metamorphosis is about. As you're writing, listen carefully, because this is important. Your heart has been broadcasting your future for years. Even not knowing about COVID, not knowing about all these seeming limitations and obstructions to your future self. Your heart has been broadcasting this for years. How can you hold this vision for the new structure and be willing to step into it, whatever it is, even if it isn't evident to you yet? When we decided to come together and do this, it was strictly about this. How can we help folks be more comfortable with the unknown, trust in themselves even more? That's a good service to provide. And frankly, it's what the two of us really need. Mm-hmm. It's the least we can do is share our little process. So you've taken a few notes on that, is my hope. Our final journal page is I trust, and I do not have an assignment for you there. I would love for you to create on your own time. What is it that you trust in? What does this even mean to you at this point? Those 2 words, since creating this book 1 year ago, have completely shifted for me. The meaning of them have shifted completely. And so I'd love for you to do that as your sort of parting assignment. Tiffany, of course, has other points for us, 2 more to be exact. One is with black spruce, and one is with your jasmine. And I'm interested in having a few moments with Tiffany where she can walk us through these 2 points. I want you to know that we are going over the hour, clearly. And if you need to leave, that's fine. We're going to be sending you the recording after this, so don't worry. Tiffany, walk us through these 2 points. And I just can't wait to be your student. It's my favorite thing.
Oh, I was just feeling that same thing in the movement. Just felt so good. Thank you for that. I love the way you open up space through the movement. I mean, I guess that sounds obvious. We're opening space through the movement, but it's you put in these questions and these contemplations that help to expand. It's like as I'm expanding my mind, I'm expanding my body. And there's something that you said that really was like a bass gong in my pelvis. And it was something like developing tolerance for the unknown. And that is the domain of black spruce. Yes, it's totally the domain of black spruce, is helping us to deepen in the infiniteness of the void, which as we do that, that actually aids us in becoming more comfortable in the unknown. Yeah. And so we're going to do a little practice together with beloved black spruce. And if you don't have this oil, it's okay. We are calling in its essence right now in this practice. And this practice is a womb sacrum cradle. Even if you came into this life in a masculine male body, you still have a womb space. So you take a couple drops of the black spruce into your hands like Elena just did, and rub your hands together. Okay. So you have a little bit of oil on each hand. You're going to put the front hand like this over your womb space. The back hand goes like this part, pushing into your sacrum. Yeah. So you have your middle finger sort of, are you going to demonstrate, Elena? Yes, exactly. Like that. And so just lovingly, press that palm, the middle of your palm, which has so many beautiful acupoints on it that have to do with the heart. And then take your front hand and just cup and cradle your womb space. And let's sit for a minute like this, activating the wisdom of black spruce within our own being. The conifer trees are the first plant on planet Earth, as far as we know, to give us essential oils. Feeling your tree nature. What's your tree nature like? You have roots down into the mother, commingling with the microorganisms and the fungi and the crystals and the minerals. And you have a trunk, a majestic body that is perfectly protected, beautifully boundaried, that has this stunning wood core that is fragrant and fertile in its own way. And you have your foliage. You have the part that is in direct communion with the sunlight of spirit. Go ahead and bring your hands up for a nice inhalation. And just before we open our eyes again, really feeling this reference point of your tree self and all of the power, the strength, the wisdom, the depth, the height, and the sacred reciprocity that is you. And taking this moment for a sweet, sweet acknowledging of all of our ancestors, all of our beloved ancestors who have come before us, and extending this acknowledgement all the way back to the first peoples and to the first peoples of the lands that we sit upon. Blessing our original self as we bless the original selves. And feeling the powering up that comes from this form of acknowledgement.
I've never visited with black spruce so deliberately before.
What did you feel?
Oh, just a deep connection to the core of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Amarillo Apache land here.
Mm.
Very, very, very connected to that. That was the first thing that came. And my tree self.
Mm-hmm.
My tree self. My tree self. So beautiful. We have one last point,
Mm-hmm.
and it might be one of my favorite top 5 oils.
Mm-hmm.
Jasmine. If you have the roller, awesome. If you have it in some other form, also awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to close with this on pericardium 7. What I would love to do before we enjoy that point is to ensure that we have appropriately informed those here.
Mm.
We've sent you a save the date. We will send yet another. We are going to teach a retreat day. This retreat day will be somewhere between 3 and 4 hours, and it will include a 90-minute yoga practice with me. It will include several points. I think we're looking at 3 to 5 points with Tiffany, and having a little more time to sort of linger in the points and in the understanding of the points and the discussion of the points and how the points work. Things that Tiffany doesn't necessarily have time to go into here in this short format. We will be sharing this with great deliberate care toward creating another safe space that is a little bit longer, that feels very much like a retreat in your own house on Saturday, the 24th of April. This will begin at 12 noon Eastern Time, 9 a.m. Pacific Time, 5 p.m. in the UK, 6 p.m. in the EU. This is really in response, not reaction, but in response to the overwhelming response that we received for this webinar. It's also in response to the fact that it doesn't seem like we are going to experience much of a change anytime soon with regards to the quarantine. Learning that it's just been reinstated in Germany and a little bit in the UK, definitely in Ontario, and with full comprehension of the fact that the vaccine is being rolled out everywhere. We're also really cognizant of the fact that many of you who have responded are opting and privileged enough to be able to be at home. To that, Tiffany, I would love to just say what an honor it is to even be looking into the future at this day together. To already have the plan for the class in my mind. It will be sort of a lingering version, a languid version of what we've just done, with a lot more opening and much more closure, time for meditation, etc. Yeah, is there anything that you would like to say regarding this virtual retreat before we take them into PC7?
Yes. So first of all, I really invite you all to come because basically Elena and I are sharing with you our primary practices that we use in order to grow and evolve in ways that are increasing in integration and stability, even in the midst of tremendous expansion. These are the practices that we use to grow ourselves, to grow the communities that are arising around us. And for me, in the time with you, what I will be sharing with you that I'm so thrilled to share with you is how to align with your inner transformational compass, to have an embodied reference point for each of the vectors of growth. And that's, it's metaphysical, but it's also mental, it's emotional, and it's also physical. And so as we guide you through these practices of feeling, of discovering, of honoring, of acknowledging, and of practicing your inner transformational compass, you'll have these sort of tricks and tools that are really powerful and potent, but you're going to leave. I wrote a cool sentence, so I want to read it to you, because when I wrote it, I was like, yeah, I want to read that to them. Okay, first of all, Metamorphosis. Activate your transformational compass. Welcome your liberated self. This is a catalytic experience and a retreat. Yes, it's restorative and it's catalytic all at one time. We will be connecting to the seed of our future self and activating resonance with him, her, it. You will learn and discover the points of the compass as vibrational, embodied reference points. You will experience portal opening practices, and you will have a supreme alignment with who you're becoming and who you've always been.
T, do you have the oils for the 24th so that we can let the folks know which oils we'll be using in case they don't currently have them?
Yes, but I would love to, I'd love to tune into those oils based on our time together here in this group that I can feel forming, and just make certain that those are the ones that are like, yeah, we're the ones that are going to, and then I'll send it to you right after. How's that? Then we can send it to everyone.
I love it.
Yeah, so there'll basically be an oil and a point for each vector on the transformational compass. You all will love it.
One important thing that I just want to point out to you guys, I'm going to leave the direct link for the 24th here. There are two things I want to talk about. One is that we are donating a portion of these proceeds. This is an important point. Two is that if you are in the Master Healer universe with Tiffany, if you've taken any of those courses, or if you are in my essential mentorship, you will be receiving an email tomorrow with a special code for a special price. Right now, I'm just hitting send on the link for the full price for the retreat. Okay, that'll be $99. That's 3 to 4 hours of full practices with both of us. Now, again, if you are in my mentorship or you are in the Master Healer Academy world with Tiffany, you will be receiving a special link to sign up for less. And if you are in the mentorship and you want to sign up right now and you don't want to wait, just go to the welcome page of the mentorship and you will see the code there for you. The email, of course, if you wish, but I would prefer it if you would wait for the email to come to you either tonight or tomorrow. You'll get your special code. You'll get the link to sign up for the 24th and all the information that Tiffany will also come through with the oils that we will be using for the 24th. And I will make sure to have that available to you far in advance. Okay.
And the 24th, we will record that too, right, Elena? So some people that may not be able to get on, they can.
No, for sure. That's going to be a beautiful, you will have that indefinitely. You know how I am. I don't like to give you a limit. You'll have that one indefinitely. So you can reference it time and time again.
Yes. And you'll also have from me these beautiful write-ups that are really transmissions about the inner nature of these 5 or 6 oils, so that you can have some, what is it? I think of like, what's that? No, that's not the right phrase. Food for thought, or when words become food, you know, when you can take in certain words that are like transmissions and you actually are altered by the words. Yes, you'll have that too.
Thank you.
All right, so we will close this out. Thank you to everyone who came on. Big thank you for being with us, for playing with us, for bringing your heartful selves. We are going to close out with one more oil and one point. This is jasmine. If you have the roller ball, great. If you don't, you can just take a drop out. And the point that we're going to be working with is pericardium 7. It's really easy. It's right on the center. Let's see if I can display this right on the center of the wrist. And so you can see kind of your wrist crease, they call it. And you see those, exactly what Elena's doing. You see the 2 tendons? You place the drop or the roll there. And then after you get it on one wrist point, do this, connect your wrist. And just rest them down in something that feels comfortable to you. We're going to close our eyes for about a minute here. Jasmine, the restorer of trust. We are deepening trust and intimacy with our emergent self. We are deepening in trust and intimacy with the totality of who we are. And we're deepening in trust, sweet trust, with our ability to have our own back, to look out for ourselves and to follow the promptings that come from our heart, the knowings in our bones, the lead that we get from the core of our belly. Feel the softening travel through your whole being, your whole body, your entire psyche. Kissed by the white petals. You are so magnificent. Let's just bring our fragrant wrists up for a nice inhale. Oh, you're muted.
So good, woman.
I felt so good.
Everything about it felt so good. I'm so glad that we took this chance. It feels so true. Everything about this feels true and right and timely and perfect. Thank you for being here. To those of you who attended, thank you for watching into the future.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. Oh, I love you, love you, love you. I can't wait to be with you on the 24th.
That'll be so sweet.
Elaine, thank you.
That even though that landing page, ElainaBrower.com/meta, at the moment is still just for this webinar, it will turn into the sales page. And if you put your email in, you will get all the information that you need. Okay, promise. And that sales page will have, I promise you, all the oils that you will need, the timing, the details, the equipment, your yoga outfit, and your willingness. I think that's it. Yeah.
Yes, and feel free to share this with anyone who you think can be blessed by it. It really is a blessing to be able to have these tools, have this context, and this catalytic experience.
Yes. And yes, this replay will be sent to you. And yes, the retreat will be recorded as well. And I'll make sure that you have also timestamps so that you know, okay, the yoga practice happened from this time to this time, Tiffany's practice from this time to this time, etc. So it should be pretty easy to navigate the recordings. Okay.
That's great.
Thank you so much. Thank you all so much.
Okay.
Awesome. We'll miss you until then, and we'll see you on the 24th.
Bye, Elena. Bye, 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 everyone. See you the 24th. Bye.